Hey guys, Brad Rhodes coming to you from Lexington, North Carolina. I met with a couple last week. I was there talking to them about Medicare. The gentleman was turning 65. His wife is a couple years later, down the little bit younger. And we were talking about Medicare, but later on we started talking a little bit about their retirement dollars. They've got a 401k to roll over somewhere. And we're just talking about their different options. I like to ask people questions to make sure what I do fits their situation, of course. And there's an author I came across by the name of Pamela Yellen, and these are some of the questions she asks people. The first one is, what kind of return would you have to get in the stock market to make it worth the risk and gut wrenchings, the ups and downs of the market? What kind of return would you have to get? Would you put your life savings at risk for a 5% return, a 7% return, or maybe even a 10% annual return? What Pamela Yellen says is, if you're like most people surveyed, you would not do it unless you thought you could get at least a 7% annual return over time. According to a recent study, many stock market investors have not even kept up with inflation over the last 20 years. Dalbar is a leading independent and unbiased investment performance rating firm. They recently had a quantitative analysis of investor behavior. And basically what I'm getting around to, according to this study, the typical investor in equity mutual funds has gotten only 3.88% annual return over the last 20 years. And this study was done before this recent downturn we had in the stock market. I found that pretty interesting. The average, the typical investor in equity mutual funds has averaged 3.88%. Okay? And then she goes on to say, this is Pamela Yellen in this article, she says, as bad as that sounds, the truth is even worse when you consider that these are nominal returns. Nominal returns means the rate of return on an investment without adjusting for inflation. Inflation for the last 20 years has averaged 2.17% a year. So the math, if you take off the annual inflation, what this Pamela Yellen is saying is that your actual return is 1.71%. And this does not even take into account that most people who are invested with a financial advisor, what have you, there are also fees involved with all that. So, you know, I'm sure this is sounding like I'm picking on the stock market. Again, I tell folks I've got money invested in the stock market as well. But when we're talking to people about their IRAs or 401ks, where my focus has been is always how to show people how to guarantee a retirement, protect their retirement. And then the last little point I'm making here, inflation and losses can be devastating. We are, you know, in a high inflation time right now. Couple that with losses in people's main source of money, in a lot of cases their 401k IRA plans, that can be devastating. And I've noticed here, also, kind of since COVID, or maybe even before, a lot of top publications are really talking about safety in retirement. Everybody likes to talk about the stock market because of the ups and downs, but more and more, like I subscribe to Kiplinger, and Kiplinger magazine here says how to make your money last for a really long lifetime. You know, people are living longer. We got to make sure our money lasts. Income for life. I mean, this is from Kiplinger magazine, who is usually talking about stocks and bonds and diversification. This is another great book that I've read. This is a PhD, Wade Pfau. It's called the Safety First Retirement Planning. Good friend of mine wrote a book called Bulletproof Your Retirement, the Safe and Secure Retirement and Income Plan. And then this gets back to me. I have written my own book, Protecting Your Retirement. A lot of you guys already have this book, A Personal Guide to Understanding and Planning for a Safe and Secure Retirement. I am humbled to say this has become an Amazon best-selling book. So I've written an article also down below that if you'd like to reference, it's a good article talking about longevity and market risks. If you'd like to get together and just talk about your situation, also down below is my calendar link. You can just click on a time and schedule a time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We can talk over the phone, and I'd be glad to get this information out to you once we talk on the phone. Anyway, hope you have a good rest of the day. If you have any questions, let me know. Take care.